Starting. Cool.
Oh, I think we're live. It looks like we're live. Yes.
Yes.
Fantastic. So we're really happy to have you here, guys. So first of all, a big thank you for everyone tuning in from around the globe. My name is Danilo. I will be your host today. I'm a community manager here at YouTube in London, and I'm really happy to have Hannah Witton here with us.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Hannah has been, collaborating with YouTube for quite a while, but specifically over the last couple of months. She's been part of a really interesting program where she helped us test some new features and give us lots of great feedback. So I'm particularly interested to be talking to her because she's just knows pretty much everything about YouTube and has also been, sort of working with us on the creator community where she's launched a Ask Me Anything recently, which actually we linked in the description. So you're welcome to read more questions there. And that's when she agreed to join us here today for our live stream. And I'm really happy to kick it off. You ready? Sounds good. Okay, she sounds ready. So just quickly some information regarding agenda so you know what to expect, as well as we're going to look at some housekeeping. So first of all, I think you may know the live stream will be between 50 minutes to 1 hour. And we'll start with, I will have the privilege to ask you some questions that I've prepared. And as a disclaimer, we see your live chat here next to ourselves. So whatever you type, Hannah is on it. And I have already some questions prepared that I will ask to Hannah. So we're going to talk about mainly her story, how she got involved into YouTube, what her channel is about, what she has learned doing YouTube. And then we'll go into some also really exciting topics off YouTube. So we're going to talk about her book, which I think she's excited about to share more about. And and then we'll go into your part. So we're going to go into the interactivity part. So I see the chat is going crazy already. Lots of smiley faces.
That's good.
So we're going to go into questions and answers, and you're going to have the chance to ask some questions that we're going to surface, and Hannah is going to be happily answering. So 2 more things before we kick it off. Of course, we're always looking to give you guys a really great experience. So we really appreciate your feedback. And that's why we've added a little link in the description of the video where you can give us feedback on how we did. Hopefully we did a great job at the end of this live stream. And also, for future live streams, what we can do better. So look out for that link and let us know how we did. Okay. And let's make this interactive and kick it off. So Hannah, my first question was, wanting to know about what your story was and who Hannah Witton is. If you could maybe stream, let everybody on the stream know who you are.
Sure. Hey everyone, I'm Hannah Witton. I'm a YouTube content creator. I've been making videos for almost 6 years. I mostly talk about, or I'm mostly known for talking about sex and relationships. That's kind of like my main thing, along with other things too, like books, feminism, travel. And I have a book coming out this year that's about sex and relationships. And that's kind of like the main thing.
Awesome. And in terms of, so where are you from? And where did you grow up? Maybe if you can give some background. Proper history about Hannah Witton, yes.
I'm from Manchester. And then I went to university in Birmingham and I studied history. And then 2.5 years ago, I moved to London. And that's kind of when I've been doing YouTube as like a job.
Cool. So 2.5 years you've been doing YouTube full time then?
Been doing it full time for a bit less than that because when I first moved to London, I had a part-time job.
Cool. And if we go into sort of the YouTube channel itself, so you mentioned what it is about. Was that the case already in the beginning of your YouTube channel, or did you always have that focus on sexual relationships? Or
no, I started out actually making videos about food because I was teaching myself how to cook, and then it was about 9 months actually since I started making videos that I started making like sex ed content.
Okay, and is that when you realized that you want to sort of focus on YouTube full time, or during that transition of content, or?
No, it was still definitely a hobby for me, but it was something that I started taking more seriously because I kind of had like a small audience, like a few hundred people, and I just kind of started to think, oh, I've got like all these people watching, and I should try and like give something back to them, or like use the platform that I have for good. And sex and relationships was something that I was like already comfortable talking about, and I just thought it made sense that would be then the area that I explored.
And so did you feel like there was a need for that topic to be talked about more than, for example, the food topic that you were addressing earlier? Is that sort of the reason for the shift?
Yeah, well, it was just because I think I'd stopped doing the food stuff before and started doing just like more just like, I don't know, what you'd probably call like random vlogs. And then I watched a lot of Lacey Green, who's a sex ed YouTuber in America, and I saw what she was doing and was really inspired by that, because sex ed was already something that I was thinking about before I even started YouTube. It was something that I kind of already knew was lacking, but I didn't know what to do about it. And then I saw Lacey doing what she does, and I was like, whoa. And then thinking, oh, there's no one in the UK that's doing that.
Okay, cool. So you kind of spotted an opportunity and a topic you cared about, and made it like your core. Okay, it's interesting, because actually my next question was gonna be if there was someone in particular who inspired you throughout your journey.
Lacey Green.
So shout out to her. Was there anyone else that, you know, also affected your creative expression on YouTube, or that specifically maybe in the beginning you were looking up to a lot? Or
well, actually, in terms of the food stuff and just generally getting into the YouTube community in the first place was the Sorted Food, the Sorted Food Boys, because I loved their YouTube channel and I was such a fan of theirs. And I did this video of like filming myself cooking one of their recipes, and just like tweeted it at them or something, just being like, oh, it's me cooking sorted food. And then like a week or two later, I had an email from Ben just being like, hey, we loved your video. Do you want to come to the studio and film with us? And I was like, what?
Okay, so I think there's a lesson there to be learned. If you want to grab Hannah's attention, then just do a video that she did, tweet it at her, and maybe she'll like it and reach out to you.
There you go.
So I think definitely on YouTube, every path of growth has a certain point in time where things just changed, and things just kicked off. Like, was there a specific point in your YouTube career that just spiked, or was it like a gradual incremental journey?
It's definitely mostly been a gradual thing. I've had one video that I would say like went viral, which was the Do I Look Like a Slut video, which was in October 2014. And that, it has this huge spike, and it's still like the biggest spike probably that I can see in terms of like the number of subscribers gained in 24 hours or something. But then it didn't snowball from that. It kind of like spiked and then went back to like gradually increasing after that.
Cool. That's great. Was it also the most viewed video you ever did?
No, I've got another video that has since overtaken it, but that one never like went viral in the sense of like it got all the views in a short period of time. It's like that one's gradually overtaken.
So how do you feel you've changed between those like 2.5 years ago when you did that video that sort of spiked everything, and now? Because I'm now gonna go into where we are today and where you are working as a creator in terms of like building your content. So a lot must have changed in this period, right? Or do you still, how do you look at YouTube now than you looked at it back in the day?
Oh, okay. I don't know. I feel like maybe a few years ago, I was just like, oh, this could be a good video idea, or this, and I just kind of like try and do whatever and different things. But now I have different series and segments and formats on my channel. And so when I think of video ideas, I try and think of like how they can fit into what I've already got going.
So your content strategy has become a much more important topic.
So I've got like the drunk advice series. So obviously with that one, it's like, who I think about who I could collab with on that next. And then the Hormone Diaries series, I'm always like thinking of new episode ideas. And then with just general sex and relationships themed videos, with that, it's always like, I feel like if I've not done a video that's is like specifically about sex and relationships in a while that isn't a Hormone Diaries video, I feel like, okay, I need to do that because that's my thing. And if I'm not done one for a while, I'm like, okay. But yeah.
Great. So you mentioned, series. So was that something you always used to do, or is that something you started doing later on when you crafted your strategy better?
Technically, I actually started out doing series pretty early because my first sex ed videos were like, I knew that they'd be part of a series because it was me and this guy Bing, because I wanted like a male perspective on it as well, basically hosting this sex ed series. And we ended up doing about 6 episodes. Yeah. 5 or 6 episodes. So it was like the format was the two of us sat on a sofa talking about a topic, and I had scripted the video and done the research and everything for it. And and I think for me that just helped me, rather than just like making one video about so I picked the topic that I wanted to now make videos about, kind of in my head thinking of it as a series from the beginning, actually kind of like motivated me to make the content.
So not only is it good for the viewers who can look forward to a next episode, it's also great motivator for yourself to keep on building up on that content,
rather than it being like one-off episodes, like one-off videos.
It's another good way to look at it. I like that. It makes a lot of sense on a motivational perspective. Now, talking about series, so I remember in our recent Ask Me Anything in the creator community, which by the way again is linked in the description, I asked you what your favorite collaboration was, and you did mention a series, and you mentioned the Banging Book Club series.
Book Club.
So if you could please tell our viewers a little bit more about that series, why it was your favorite one. And I know you worked on it with Lena Norms and Lucy Moon. If you could give us some background of what it was about.
Sure. The Banging Book Club is a monthly book club podcast where me and Lucy and Lena read, and everyone else that is involved, all the other members of the book club, read a book about sex and or gender each month, and then we discuss it. And it's just been so much fun. We succeeded in doing 12 episodes last year for 2016, one a month. And now we're continuing it for 2017, and we've got like more ideas and expanding it from just one a month to one every 2 weeks.
And you read each of you read the same book in that month? So
so we all read the same book, and then we discuss it. And then loads of people in the community also read the book and then comment on it.
Were you used to reading 12 books a year, or was that like a new challenge for you?
That was fine. I read more books than that anyway. So like
Wow. So you see another lesson to take away is read more books.
Read more books. And it's great as well because for me, part of my kind of background in sex is that I studied the history of sexuality at university. And so I wanted to kind of keep up my more academic or literary study of sex. And so doing the book club with friends is like a way of doing that. So like every month I'm reading a new book that is either a non-fiction book, so it's actually like got facts and everything about sex in it, or a fictional book that plays on different themes around it and can kind of like learn different perspectives and new stories.
Now, unfortunately, including myself and the viewers, I don't think we have the time in this hour to read all these books. But so if you could share one lesson you've learned from these books in this past year that we can all take away from, would you mind sharing? One.
The one lesson I've learned is that you should read books about sex. It's really useful just to understand and like to know about these things. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like, it's not a seedy thing at all. It's like it at its core, it's like stories about people. And then also read my book. That's a book about sex.
Speaking of the book, actually, that was next on my thing.
Oh, good.
I like how it's flowing naturally into the next topic. So background around the book, was actually that series the inspiration of the book? Well, this is how you came up with the idea of doing a book?
Yeah, so I kind of like after I graduated uni, I knew in the back of my head that I wanted to write a book one day, like on sex, history of sex, or sex ed or whatever. But where I was at in my like YouTube career, I kind of didn't really think it was my time, and I just kind of like it was in the back of my head as like an idea, but I didn't really tell anyone. And then a publishing company just got in touch out of the blue.
Oh, really?
Kind of being like, hey, we like what you do and we would love to work with you on a book. And I was just like, what? Really?
I've always wanted to do that.
And yeah, and then we had loads of back and forth meetings about what this book would be. And then we settled on the idea. And then it's been about a year now. So it's been over a year since that initial meeting. And yeah, and that's how.
So how long did it take you to actually write the book?
Actual time writing, because we did a lot of planning. So I had like the structure and the format of the book that we kind of decided on together. And then from day one of writing words to handing in the first draft, it took me 2.5 months. 2.5 months. Which is actually pretty quick.
So on that note, I actually, it sounds like not a long time, considering also, you know, we had a chat earlier before going live, and I asked Hannah how much time she invests in making YouTube videos, right? So my question was actually, what do you find harder, writing a book or, you know, making YouTube videos?
It depends what you mean.
Or growing a channel to 300 subs, right?
If you compare writing a book to making one YouTube video, writing the book is harder. But then, like you said, growing a YouTube channel and like maintaining a weekly schedule.
Yeah. What about becoming an author versus becoming a YouTuber?
Well, anyone can be both. Well, it depends. Being a published author is slightly more hard, but anyone can be like, anyone can write. And then if you've got an internet connection and a webcam, you can be a YouTuber.
Great. So speaking of YouTube, on that note, I also had an actual question regarding the platform itself. So considering particularly that you spent some time with us testing features and so on, I actually wanted to know you if there was one particular feature you liked and you were using, and that maybe you could share that with the viewers.
Sure. I really like the Creator Studio app. So the app on your phone, and I feel like it takes a while for a lot of people to realize that this exists because it's amazing. But it basically means that I can like edit the description of videos and reply to comments just on my phone when I'm out and about, so I don't have to wait until I'm like back at home on my laptop or anything like that. And then they also updated it recently, and you can now download the thumbnail from inside the app, and I was just like, yes, because when I promote a video, I will tweet a picture of the thumbnail. But if I forgot to save the thumbnail on my phone, then I'm like, and so now it's just like, oh, I just go into the app and just download the thumbnail that I've already. But yeah, I'm replying to comments. That's the thing that I do.
And I think actually, so I usually run a lot of creator days in my region, so the UK and Ireland, and actually we talked quite a bit about that app specifically because on a community perspective, it's a really great app to have, and as you mentioned, several people are not aware of it. So I'm happy you mentioned that actually. Now I have one more question. Did you hear already that we launched something pretty big this week? Did you hear about the fact that we launched mobile live streaming?
I did. Yes, I've not used it yet.
Yeah. Okay.
But I've heard, and a friend of mine actually did a mobile live stream recently as well.
Cool. It's quite a big news, and on that note, I actually wanted to say that interestingly, I'm running a live stream in 2 weeks' time on the 27th of February about mobile live stream. So feel free to tune in and to learn more about how it works. And hopefully we'll see some stuff about you in the future doing mobile live streaming if it fits into your content strategy.
Maybe.
But yeah, the link to that registration is also in the comments. And okay, now I actually wanted to go into sort of also sharing some of the values that you've learned as a YouTuber, you know, for also growing creators, specifically in their earlier steps in their career. And so the one thing I wanted to mention again is if you could talk about collaborations and how important you think they are, specifically when you're a growing creator and you still have to find maybe your niche or your specific strategy, and how vital are collaborations with other creators?
Yeah, I think collaborations are really important. They definitely, in the early days and even now, just like help grow my channel. And also just help keep the content interesting. And when you bring new people onto your channel, you get like a new perspective and a different voice, which is really exciting. But they're really, for me, it's about collaborating with people who are either trying to do a similar thing to you, or there's like some crossover there. So your audience, both of your audiences will take some value from the person you're collaborating with, but then also people who are kind of at a similar stage to you, because the way that I've heard it being described before is that high tides raise all ships. So even if you're collaborating with people who, so say you have 100 subscribers, someone else has 100 subscribers, you collaborate, but it doesn't necessarily mean that your 100 are exactly the same as the other person's 100. There'll be some people there that have never heard of you. And you just keep doing that, and gradually you can build. And the other thing that I love about collaboration is that you don't necessarily have to be in the same place. So people are like, well, I live in the middle of nowhere, like how do I collaborate? But you can, like you're watching other YouTubers, and you can meet people online through Twitter or whatever. And like back in the day, like a lot of my collaborations were done by talking back and forth about what we were going to do, and then scripting it out, and then filming our bits, and then sending them to the other person to edit them together.
That's a great way to do it, right?
Or we collabed on Skype. So we would have an earbud in, have the person in our ear, have Skype on, but then be like talking directly into the camera. And then you send each other the bits, and then you just edit in between the two. It's hard work, that edit, but like you can collaborate even if you're not in the same place.
So you talk about place. What about number of subscribers? So I've heard different things there, and particularly at our creator days, we also tell our creators that often when it comes to collaboration, the two creators collaborating don't have to necessarily have the same amount of subscribers, because the ultimate goal of a collaboration is that you bring value to each other. And that value could be subscriber count, or could be, for example, production value. So I've connected with several creators, for example, who are still looking to grow, but they're really good at making editing, for example, or making videos, post production. So have you had collaborations also with smaller creators? And maybe what have you learned from that? Was it a successful collaboration, or do you have maybe a particular experience you want to share with us looking back? Or
so I've done lots of collaborations with like people who have got channels bigger than mine, or or smaller than mine. With the ones whose channels are smaller than mine, the reason why those tend to like work is because we've met and we've established like a friendship beforehand. So we're like already mates, and so the subscriber count kind of is irrelevant at that point, because we're just like, oh, you're my friend.
It's authentic also,
right?
Exactly.
I want to make a video with you. And then also it kind of depends on like what we would do together. So my friend Sana, I've known her for years, and we kept on talking about wanting to make video together, and she knew that she wanted to come on my channel and talk about online dating, and I kept being like, yes, and we finally did that. But her channel is smaller than mine, but because we're friends and we've been friends for years, and online dating is something that we talk about in person anyway, it was a really good collab. And then same with Stephen Bridges, who's a magician.
I've met Stephen Bridges.
We've met Stephen Bridges.
He can do some crazy tricks.
And so we did a collab where because I've always wanted to ask him like a million questions about female magicians, and like why like the only women in magic you see are like the glamorous assistants and stuff like that. So I got him on my channel to have that discussion.
Interesting.
And then on his channel he showed me some magic tricks. Cool. So it works out really well if you have like that good balance between the content that you're making and that crossover, and using the other person's skills to your advantage. And like the way that I think about it is, I'm like, if you're coming on my channel, I want to show you off to my audience. What can you bring that can like, I can make you look the best possible so that my audience love you.
Awesome. And the fact that you're friends with these people in real life only enforces sort of the truth of, allowing your audience to step into your environment and actually seeing who you are.
But you don't necessarily have to be friends with someone to collab. You can just kind of know who each other are vaguely, and but maybe you've got similar values, or you're making similar content.
Have you ever met someone on one day and collabed in the evening?
kind of. I met Sarah Pascoe, who's a comedian. We met once. We had a coffee when we were like planning a collab, and that was the first time we met. And then like a week or two later, we had some email back and forth and planning what we were going to talk about. And then she came over, and then we filmed a video.
Cool.
So that was a very like, oh, I don't really know you, but she's just really cool, and we had loads to talk about. So it was like really good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And do you think you do more collabs now, or you used to do more collabs when you were a smaller creator? How has that changed, or has it been pretty much the same?
I feel like it may have stayed the same. It might have gone more though because of Drunk Advice.
Yeah.
So I have like a consistent series on my channel that requires collaboration.
Do you think that's something that generally is a good guideline, to have sort of videos which are starring on your own and then having series next to it where you're on a regular basis collaborating with other creators?
I mean, it's worked really well for me, and I definitely would recommend it, of like establishing whatever it is that you do on your own that you do really well, and then figuring out a format that relates to that, relates to your niche in some way, but has the capacity to bring people on. Because for those, like, collaboration in the sense of cross collaboration, so people can guest on Drunk Advice and we don't do a video for their channel, and that's fine, because it's like, hey, do you want to come be a guest on my show?
Okay. Cool. Maybe a funny question I can ask you. I'm sure the viewers would enjoy. What was the funniest let's say moment or event that happened within the collaboration? Something that went totally wrong, or something that was really unexpected? Do you mind sharing anything?
I can't think of anything.
I caught her on the spot here, so no preparation for this one.
Oh, well, it kind of half got caught on camera because I did leave it a little bit in, but it was the Drunk Advice with Riyadh. And
I know Riyadh.
Yeah, we were talking about
if you don't know Riyadh, check out Riyadh. He's really awesome.
Riyadh K. I'm not going to spell that out loud right now.
RIYADH.
There we go. Killed it. So it was in the episode of Drunk Advice, and one of the things we were talking about was like how to take a great nude selfie or whatever, or whatever. And Riyadh was like, do you want to see? And I thought he was going to show me pictures on his phone, and I was like, yeah, I love it when my friends want to show me, then whatever. And then he like went to undo his pants, and I was like, no.
Unexpected. Definitely unexpected. Okay, but you edited it out, so
I kept in the bit where it was just like
okay. So go check out that video.
It's actually my mum's favorite video.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay. We can't edit that out because this is a live stream.
I know.
Just saying. All right, fantastic. Cool. So I think we have just one more question before we'll jump into the Q&A. And the main question is actually around something that, again, was brought up when I asked you a question during the Ask Me Anything in the creator community. And that was about sort of asking you if there's three things, sort of three values you believe creators should have and sort of build their career upon on YouTube.
Yeah.
What would they be? And
what did I say?
Hannah, I was going to ask you, do you remember? So what Hannah told us is number 1 is passion, number 2 is authenticity, and number 3, do you remember? Creativity.
Great, there we go. Not in that order.
Okay, not in that order. Do you mind telling us a little bit about each of them? In the meantime, I'll start looking a little bit of what's going on in the chat.
So, passion. What I meant by that was that you have to be passionate about whatever you're making videos about.
Yeah.
You shouldn't just make stuff because you think it's popular or you think it'll get views, because people are clever and they can see right through that. And you should make videos about what you're interested in. Even if you think, oh my God, this is so niche, no one's going to care. It's really good to be niche, and there are going to be people out there who like what you're talking about or what you're doing. And then what you'll end up doing is building a very like engaged community, like a very like valuable community. So that's the passionate thing.
Yeah.
And your passion, like if you're interested in what you're talking about, then it's going to make an interesting video. Sometimes I'll watch videos about things that I couldn't care less about, but for me it's an exciting video because I can see how into it the person in the video is.
I have a perfect question as a follow-up for that
Okay.
after. So.
I'll be quick. What was it? Authenticity? That's kind of the same thing. Like being true to yourself and like what you like, and just doesn't necessarily mean like bearing all, but kind of, you know, plowing through, doing your own thing.
Creativity.
And then creativity would be just kind of like thinking outside the box a little bit and trying to come up with new and interesting ways to get your message out there, experiment with different formats and different collaborations or genres.
Cool. Yeah. So what I meant is that there's actually one question around collaborations, which I think is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Which talks about sort of watching videos versus creating videos, right? And the question is by Robert Burton and also Georgie White, who reinforced, I think, the need for that question to be raised. And so the question is, do you watch smaller channels?
Yeah.
And what would be the main things that would make you do a collab with smaller creators?
Oh, cool. Yeah, I do watch a lot of small channels. And the thing that would make me collab with a smaller channel is if I've established a friendship with that person, probably.
Okay.
And I think that whatever it is they're doing on that channel is like, well, if I'm watching them anyway, then I like it. And if I'm friends with them, then I'll probably like their content. But if I think that if they've got something to say, or they've got some insight or knowledge or experience that I don't have, and I feel like my audience would benefit from hearing their story.
Okay. Then regardless of the subscribers count, you just feel like it's something important
and also just because and if we're already mates, then the video would hopefully be entertaining because we would have like a good banter or whatever. Yeah.
Cool. On the point of meeting Hannah, actually on the 18th of February, she's going to be at one of our events, a creator day that we're doing in London at the YouTube space.
Yeah.
And Hannah agreed to be with us on the panel.
Yeah,
so,
and my mum's coming.
Oh, yeah. So you're going to meet Hannah and her mum, then come to the YouTube space on February 18th. And we'll be able to have a chat and maybe, who knows, collab in the future. Okay, great. I will quickly read to the questions. In the meantime, can you please tell us what this is? For those who can see it.
This is my logo. That's just, it says my name, Hannah Witton, and then the weird love heart thing, and I just drew it there because I'm just massively into myself.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. I hope people can see it via the camera. It looks like it's like a nice calligraphy. All right. Now there is a question from Jess Gottlieb, which says Hannah's tour.
Oh yeah,
that's the topic.
My tour, I'm going on tour. Please buy tickets.
Can you please tell us a bit more about this tour and what it is that you're looking forward the most about it?
To be honest, I think what I'm looking forward to most is like doing something live and in person, because when making YouTube videos, other than when doing live streams, making YouTube videos is not live and completely not in person, because you're like, there's all of these different barriers between you and the people watching, and so I'm really excited to kind of be able to communicate with my audience and like feel the immediate reaction, which will hopefully be like laughs and
good times
and not just like met with silence.
So instant feedback loop, right?
Instant. That's what basically I'm going on tour because I just need more validation.
Okay, great. Thanks for sharing that. And when is it starting, the tour?
I'm going on tour in April. London is April the 11th, Birmingham April 12th, and Manchester April 13th. Buy tickets.
And I think
it should be fun doing it live with Hannah Witton.
Yeah. And before that, I think that you're also going somewhere else, quite special, right?
VidCon Amsterdam. Okay. That's the weekend before. Where else am I going?
And even before, I know where you're going. You're also going to
next week.
San Francisco.
I'm going to San Francisco.
She's going to go to the YouTube HQ, so that should be pretty fun. Maybe you should let us know how it went after and share with the viewers how the experience was. So it's going to be the first time, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go to like Google YouTube HQ.
Pretty cool. San Bruno, San Francisco.
In Silicon Valley.
You've been in the US before, right? Cool. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, now we have another question by MC Review Face, who's asking, is the tour staying in the UK or are you coming to Canada? Okay, that was still about the tour. Can you go to Canada? to see
Mate,
Mr. Review Face?
it's 3 days. I said this on Twitter. I am not famous enough to do more than 3 dates in the UK, let alone go globally.
Wow.
But if you come to the tour, if it goes well and we sell tickets, then there's like more. If you know.
So next up, Canada after the UK.
Yeah, why not?
Who knows? Why not?
Just saying, guys.
Just say where you are in Canada, so Hannah can keep a mental note.
Yeah.
Okay, we have another question here. By Georgie, who's asking, what is your favorite thing about the YouTube space? Do you mind sharing that for those who maybe haven't seen the YouTube space yet?
My favorite thing about the YouTube space is the kind of communal working space, because I sometimes just come in here to nab the extremely fast internet.
Okay.
And
we have a very good internet
it's
here.
so good. And so sometimes I'll just like sit downstairs in the space cafe area and just doing work. And the thing I love about it is the fact that there's just loads of YouTubers around. And like I walked in today, just going to sit down and do a Skype call and upload a video. And my friends Dodie was there, and Sammy and Tomek and Stephen, they're all there. And I was just like, hey guys, hey. It's great.
So that the people.
Yeah, the people and the like.
Besides the internet, is the people.
Yeah, but also because it's quite a lonely job sometimes. You start working on your own. So coming here and you're like, oh, other people who are doing the same thing as me.
Yeah. And on that note, actually, I also have a question before we go back. I think next question we'll answer is from Chauvinism, which is a great question. But on the note of like, working alone when you're a creator sometimes, I actually asked you when we were preparing for this if there was anything in particular you think would help your audience in growing their channel, and you mentioned to me that actually was the whole organizational part around crafting YouTube videos. So if you can talk to us a little bit about that, that'd be really useful, I think.
Sure. So I kind of wanted to talk about the creative process, because for me it's like, but not just the creative process, like the organizational process side of things as well. Because what I found with making the leap from doing YouTube as a hobby and like having a part-time job and like trying to like push to do more YouTube to doing it full time, the thing that has helped me grow my channel the way that I have is through having a very like organized systems in place. So like having a weekly schedule and knowing like if I'm gonna have a video that's going live on this day, when do I need to have it filmed and edited by? And I have like a Google Calendar that has all of the videos that I'm planning on putting out, and usually it's like a month ahead.
Wow.
So from now I know roughly kind of like every video that's going up for the next month.
One thing I can say from my personal experience of working with Hannah is that you respond to emails very fast.
Thank you. Thank you. I was late to one of our calls. I just completely forgot about it. But other than that, I'm really good.
Oh, yeah, I thought you told me that you missed your train or something, no? Okay, now we go back to the question from Chauvinism, who said, hi, Hannah, what is your dream and where do you see the channel going as you mature?
Oh, good. Who's that?
Chauvinism.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Ooh, my dream. God, I don't even know anymore. It's one of those things where I'm just making it up as I go along.
So this question has been asked before in the past.
Maybe. But the channel as I mature, I like the idea of it just becoming like a more streamlined kind of like sex education resource or hub. So you can come to the channel and just be like, oh, is there a video on this? Or like, I need to learn about this, or I've got questions about this. And you can like search in the channel and then be like, oh yeah, Hannah has done a video on that or something.
Have you thought of building a website?
I do have a website,
and then integrating
but,
sort of your YouTube videos as a sort of a course basis plugged into that? Yeah.
But maybe that's my new dream. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I just answered it for you. There's a next question by Annabella, who's asking what is the best thing about being a YouTube creator and why?
I think the best thing is being freelance.
Oh yeah.
And being able to dictate my own schedule and be my own boss and run my own life, and that works quite well for me because I'm very self-motivated. So even though I am my own boss, I don't wake up at like 1 p.m. I still
I was
wake
going to ask you, do you have a daily schedule?
I wake up at like 7:30
every morning.
pretty much.
You snooze or you don't snooze?
Snooze for like max half an hour.
Okay, well, that's half an hour is a good amount of snoozing time.
Yeah, it's not bad. And that's on an average day. I have better and worse days than that, but yeah. That's my favorite thing. It's just like being able to kind of be my own boss and just completely
awesome. Keep on sharing, guys, by the way. I think this is great to see how interactive it is.
Yeah.
And, I can see lots of stuff going on. In the meeting, so everyone on the
Oh, someone said, where can we get tickets for the tour? My ticket, what is it? It's on my Twitter. It's my pinned tweet on Twitter.
Oh, it is. Okay.
And there it is.
So go grab some tickets.
Yeah.
While I scout another question that actually was within the Ask Me Anything from the creator community, we found this really interesting, and we looked at it with Hannah. So the question came from Rafael Manu, who sent us this question via a form that we had shared before the live stream. And so Rafael Manu was asking, your channel is mainly about sex and things that are basically aimed at women. Now, as a man, do you think it's good that I take interest in these things, since there are some men among us, and I believe also in the audience, who don't like knowing or understanding women's bodies or the things they go through?
Sure. First of all, my channel, yes, probably is mainly for women, but that's just because I'm a woman, and if I'm sharing my experiences, it's more likely that other women will relate to that. But I do try and make my content like as inclusive as possible, so that anyone can enjoy it. And you're not alone, because there are loads of dudes that watch my channel who comment and like reach out to me to say that they are a guy and they watch my videos because they find it really interesting and they learn so much about like, especially through the hormone diaries. There's men being like, I had no idea this is something that women had to go through. Oh my God. And so that's really nice. And then there's also, I get quite a few comments from like older men who are parents, and they say that they're like really grateful for my videos because they show them to their daughters.
Oh, I see there's some. Where are you
really
from,
cool.
dear interviewer? That's interesting. That's for me.
That's for you.
Can
Where
I
are you
from?
from?
I'm half Italian, half Swiss.
There we go.
Thank you for that, by the way. First time it happens. So, and then we have a question. I think, again, collaboration seems to be a really interesting talk, and I'm happy because we took quite a bit of time to talk about that. And there's Julia Poppins who asked, does it make sense to collab with creators that make videos in other languages than oneself? That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Do you mean that you're both like speaking different languages in the video, or they maybe have, maybe so their channel is maybe in a different language to your channel, but you do have a language in common, so you can talk in one of the languages that you speak? I think that would be fine, as long as you have a good idea for what the videos are going to be. And you make it clear to your audience. So say if you speak English in your videos and you want to collab with a YouTuber who speaks Spanish in their videos, and you've decided that both of your collabs are going to be in English. Like for your channel, that's fine. But for their channel, then that video is going to be in English. Guaranteed a lot of their audience might also know English. But then you just kind of be all like, hey, this video is going to be in English. We're going to do different. But also, if there are different languages involved, you can play on that and like do stuff with languages in terms of the content you make. I don't know. It's really exciting.
A follow up on that, I think it's quite interesting talking about analytics. So I know. So we mentioned like audience, right? And so where they're from, and so how much do you look at your audience?
Quite a bit, yeah.
And how much do you know about it? Where it comes from? How old it is? Like, do you spend a lot of time?
Not a lot of time, but like, I know they're from mostly the UK, then the US, then Canada, then Germany.
Oh, Germany. Oh, there was someone actually here in the chat asking if you know German.
9.
No? I know some German.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's it.
You can say, hallo, ich bin Hannah Witton.
Hallo, ich bin Hannah Witton.
Yeah, that was good. Good.
I am German. My family's German, but sorry.
Let's go here. Do you need an intern, Hannah? asks Georgie White.
Yeah, I have an intern.
Oh, you have an intern?
Yeah. My intern works for me 1 day a week. It is amazing. Very helpful as my workload increases. Having someone to kind of help out on that.
Cool. So
is amazing.
Team Hannah Witton.
Yeah, Team Hannah Witton. It's
Another great question, which is about the new topic, which I like. I think we should try to cover a few different topics, which is great. So Ancient Emma is asking if you think blogging at the same time as making videos is necessary or useful for doing, growth on YouTube and getting audiences.
It depends, I guess, what the audiences that you want to reach out to and where they are, because you can kind of generally maybe the kind of people that read blogs are a slightly different demographic to people that watch YouTube videos.
Yeah.
So it depends on who you're trying to get to, and then also how your content will differ from vlogging to blogging.
Yeah.
So I have a blog that last year, for the first half of the year, I was like doing like one blog a week on it, and then it just became like, as I was writing my book, it just fell off the priority list entirely. And I find that the way that I speak and the way that I share in writing and the things that I talk about are always very different to what I would share in YouTube videos, because I'd be like, oh, I want to talk about this, but I feel like it's more for a blog than a vlog. Yeah. So it's kind of totally up to you. I found that doing a blog didn't increase my YouTube audience at all, but that's because my YouTube audience is where it's mainly at for me, and then doing the blog on the side meant that like the small portion of people that already followed me who also enjoyed reading blogs, they kind of had extra content from me if they wanted.
Cool.
I don't know if that helps.
No, I think actually Sia said thank you so much for answering.
Okay, cool.
So positive feedback. One question there was, I think, before I saw quickly in the chat around production, and I think this was also asked within our Ask Me Anything, and the question was from Uvanma: what camera do you use, and when you're filming at home versus the outdoors, do you change device, or do you like filming from your phone?
Sure. So I actually recently did a bit of an equipment upgrade. So at the moment, when I'm at home, the main videos that you'll see are filmed on a Canon 80D, which is a DSLR, and then I have the Sigma 85 to 35mm lens, and I use the H4n mic, which is a zoom mic, and then I have 2 LED panels that are lights that light me.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my general internal at-home setup. And then if I'm out and about, so for travel videos, I have the Sony RX100. And that's kind of like my point and shoot vlog camera that has a little flippy out screen.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I film on my phone too. But most of the filming on my phone has happened when, like, for the Hormone Diaries, if I'm out and about and something happens, i.e. I come on my period and I don't have my vlogging camera with me, it's like, okay, well.
Time for the phone.
Yeah.
So you think gear is quite important for you, like, and the quality of your videos? Like, of course, like, it's all about storytelling, but how important is the quality of a specific video?
It's never been like my priority, but as someone who, like, this is my job, I can justify kind of having decent equipment because I'm like, this is it's a business expense for me. But when I was like starting out, and like my general advice is like not to worry about it so much. But I will say, like, advice on equipment is get a good microphone before anything else. And even if that's, so like, if you do have like a lot of people have like a DSLR camera or whatever, the internal mics on those are terrible. Do not rely on those. Even a better option is just to like record a voice memo on your phone, use your phone as a microphone, just have it like near you and like hit record, and then use a little clap to sync it.
Oh, cool. Good trick.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Another question around production from my review phase was, do you write full scripts for your videos, or do you go off the cuff?
It depends on the video. If it's a more sensitive topic, then I'll tend to flesh out more of a script to make sure that I'm phrasing things correctly or using the right terms and getting facts right or whatever. But I would say more generally, I have like bullet points, so I know what points I want to hit in the video, and then I'll kind of like improv around that so it comes out more naturally.
Cool.
Yeah.
Another one from Georgia Needs a Life around branding. And the question is, how important would you say branding is for your channel?
I would say it's pretty important. Like, I make sure that my name is in the titles of every video. One of the things my intern has done for me is we made a new end screen.
Cool.
Since YouTube rolled out the new end screen thing. So I was just like, oh, this is a good opportunity to do some rebranding end screen stuff. But I've got like my logo and the signature thing that I use in most places. It's good. I think it's good to have like some kind of consistency that people can see that and be like, oh yeah, that's her. Hannah Witton. Yeah.
Cool. So when did you make this one?
Recently.
Oh, recently.
That's a bit, yeah. Well, I learned that I could do that with my name when I was 18 before I even started making YouTube videos. And then I had a bit of a rebrand with having a new logo and stuff. I can't remember when, maybe like 6 months ago. No, couldn't tell you. And then I got this woman that I work with who's done a lot of design stuff for me. I basically drew out those, so it's like my writing, and then I took pictures of them and sent them to her, and she scanned them in and like digitalized it and did all the fancy stuff. So I'm like,
you consider yourself on that note a technical YouTuber? Do you feel like you understand the whole technical aspects that come with being creative? No. So you can be successful without like, all the bits and bobs.
I feel like one of my strong points is knowing what I'm bad at and getting other people to do those things. There's always a good thing though, like learning to let go of things and delegating. That like is a skill.
Focusing on what you know how to do very well.
Yeah, and like and knowing what you're good at and knowing what you're bad at is like a good thing to learn.
Cool. Great. There's a lot of action here. It's really nice to see that everybody's engaged. There's also a question from Sadie, which I think is quite interesting. Sadie C, who asks, who are your biggest YouTube influences?
Okay. To be honest, at this point in where I'm at, my biggest influences are just like my mates. Like I just think like every time I watch my friends' videos, I'm just like, oh, it's so inspiring, so good. I love Tessa Violet's videos. I think they're wonderful. Melanie Murphy, just Lucy Moon, and Lindsay Doe, Sexplanations. Just great stuff. Love it.
Cool. Good. So make sure to subscribe to those.
Yeah.
And check them out at least. And I think there's a really nice comment here by Christopher Ezizu. Sorry for pronouncing your name not entirely perfectly, but do you want to read this to the audience?
Sure. Been watching your stuff for a couple months now, which my friend gives me weird looks for since I'm not your target audience. I just find your stuff funny and informational. Thank you. That's cool. Like
instant feedback loop again, you see?
It's great. I love that instant feedback.
That's only happens in live, right? So if you haven't ever done any live streams yet, it's about time. I like this question here about YouTube success, kind of. It's so what is the definition of success on YouTube? What do you think it is? Is it more subscribers? Is it more views on your videos? Is it more money? You know, what is the success on YouTube?
For me, I think the main thing that I measure success on is the engagement around my videos. So views definitely comes into that, but more so the comments and like tweets, because I feel like it's great if people feel compelled to comment. That's amazing. But then the next level is if someone like goes to a different platform. So they like copy a link, they click out of YouTube and they go to their Twitter and they're like, they loved the video so much that they had to tweet it or share it somewhere else or whatever. So for me, that's how I gauge success. Like I know it's a good video if people feel compelled to like comment and share it,
and if you feel connected to the people sharing it, if you feel connected to the community. So that whole connection with community goes into loyalty, kind of, right? So your people being loyal to the content and connected. And that was another question here that we had here was, how did you build up a loyal audience? How do you connect with your community? How do you make sure they stick to your content?
That's interesting. Asking about a loyal audience as well. I've never really thought of it like that. I think as I've grown up, because it's, you know, I'm almost 25 and I started making videos when I was 19. And so I've grown up, and so I've very much stayed true to myself in that my content has grown up with me.
Yeah.
And I feel like people will stay loyal to you if they see that you're not like faking it. Like, I'm not going to be making back to school content.
Sure, because that's just not what you're in life.
Yeah. Well, you'll see this September.
And the same way you're growing, the same way you're growing, your audience is growing.
My audience
as well,
is growing.
Right? So,
I feel like I don't treat them like idiots.
Yeah.
You know, I treat them just like intelligent people, and I learn so much from them in the comments of videos as well, which is really great.
So there's a question here around, you know, sort of the moment you turn your YouTube passion into YouTube career. Do you want to go into that a little bit before we start the closing questions?
So there's kind of like two moments for me. The first moment was when I left university, and I think when I left uni, I had about 70,000 subscribers, and at the time it wasn't enough to do YouTube full time. Like, it wasn't bringing me enough income to do that. But I did know that I wanted to move to London, and I did know that I wanted to at least give it a go, like give it my best shot at like trying to do YouTube.
Give it your best shot.
Yeah, exactly. And so that was when I was just like, okay, I'm uploading a video once a week, because before that, with doing uni and stuff, I was terrible at uploading. So moved to London, really like focused on uploading a video a week. I'd launched Drunk Advice. I was working like part-time job.
Consistency.
Yeah, consistency, and just like experimenting with formats, launching just new exciting stuff. And then it was like it was like 11 months. So got there within a year.
And
in a year, that was when basically what happened was the YouTube stuff and everything that was kind of like my freelance kind of life was getting too much, and I needed, my part-time job was 2 days a week, and I needed those extra 2 days. I felt like I didn't have enough time to do everything, and so I quit that job and then went full-time.
That must feel like a liberating sort of moment to now be able to commit.
I like woke up the next morning like, oh god, it's happening now.
So is there something you'd wish you'd done differently, or thankful that you did for prioritizing YouTube in your early careers? Is there like anything you would have done differently, or?
Oh, I would have just like registered a different YouTube username.
Oh, really? That's an easy one. Okay, I think we have like time for like one more question, maybe, or two. Let's see. So I think this one is quite interesting in terms of like helping out everyone who's listening in, from Daniel McAllister, who's asking, what advice would you give to a YouTuber who has grown out of their original content subject matter and wants to grow but not alienate their current audience?
This is a great question, because I feel like so many creators and friends of mine are also like dealing with the same thing, and I'm just like, what do I do? I built this audience up doing this one type of content, but I'm not excited by that anymore, and I want to do something else. You just have to take the plunge. You just have to start doing it, and you also just have to accept that you will probably initially see a lot more people unsubscribing than people subscribing, but you just have to stick at it and keep doing what it is you love, and then soon you'll start to build up a new audience of people that will be enjoying the current content that you're making. Like, you just have to kind of like mentally deal with the fact that you're going to see a hit statistically, but not worry about that, because if you just keep doing the thing that you love and you just keep at it, then over time you will see that reward because of the change that you made. And also just be honest with the audience as well. So if you are going to make that change, maybe make a video being like, hey, I want to change the type of content I'm making. This is why. And, you know, if you're really honest about that, then like, I'm sure a lot of your audience will stick around as well. Some might not, and that's fine, you know.
Yeah, and then probably there's some people who are connected to you as a person, as a character, and then there's those who are interested into the content that you deliver.
Yeah.
And you just have to understand the fact that things may go in different directions. But great question, thank you so much. Okay, we have one more, and then I will close this with
Okay.
my personal question to you. So there is Georgia Needs a Life, who's asking you if there was one person you would love to collaborate with. Maybe you haven't met yet. Like, who would it be? Why? Where? How? Anyone?
I would
you
love
could
to
think of?
collab with Louise, Sprinkle of Glitter. I love her.
Okay.
She's just so great.
Okay. So
And that's
maybe
just a really boring answer, but I'm just like, Louise, she's just great.
awesome. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Hannah, for sharing that with us. So, I mean, are we going to see many collaborations in the next year on your channel?
Well, my next video is a collaboration. It's
Cool.
another episode of Drunk Advice. So
When is it coming out?
Valentine's Day.
Oh, interesting. All right. Then I would just like to ask you, what can we expect from you in 2017? Where's your channel going? Where's Hannah Witton going?
Oh God, you can expect my book to come out. Just kidding. Doing it. It's out April 6th. On my YouTube channel. I want to do so. Oh, actually, yeah, I do know the answer to this question. So at the end of 2016, I did this thing called Vlognica, where instead of Vlogmas, I did 8 days, 8 videos for Hanukkah.
Yeah.
And I loved it. It was so much fun. I will never become a daily vlogger. Absolutely not. It's such hard work. But I wanted to find more opportunities to do like short stints of daily videos around an event, around a certain
tentpole.
Yeah, exactly. Like something that's happening, and I like for a week or whatever, I will do like daily videos. So that I'll be experimenting with more in 2017. There'll be like more occasions where like for 1 week there'll be like loads of videos.
Awesome. Do you have any final words, final messages for the audience before we have to say goodbye? Or
thanks everyone for tuning in. I have been like reading this chat as much as possible.
Lots of hearts.
And you guys are just being so nice. Do you like pickles? Yes, I do like pickles. I'm a Jew. What do you think? But yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. And again, it would be really awesome for us if you can share, with us, how you liked it, how it was, the conversation, if it was valuable, if you learned a lot, if you had fun. So please share your feedback in the comment sections that we have, and also within the link that we pasted in the live chat. So thanks again for tuning in. Hannah and I say goodbye and good night from London. Have a great rest of the day, and thank you so much again.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Take care.